All right, I think I'm all good.
Okay. Excellent. Welcome to the show 2.0. Episode
What is this? Six?
6? I think so.
It might be time for number 6, guys.
Yes.
We passed it off last time I picked Saw for the movie. And
This time I picked the movie, and I picked the 2014 classic, Whiplash. You see, what I saw this back in, I think I saw this back when not when it came out in theaters. I didn't see it in theaters.
Okay.
But I saw it around the time it came out because I was interested in because 2014 was a good year for movies.
Right.
I think.
Yeah,
There were some good ones that came out.
I was actually working at a movie theater when this came out.
Yes, and you didn't see it in theaters either, but I saw it around the time it came out, and I really liked the movie, so I thought, well, that'll be in my next pick for Show 2.0.
Gotcha.
And so overall, first impressions, what stood out to you in the movie Whiplash?
What stood out right away, I mean, the cinematography I kept pointing out throughout the whole thing. I was like, this is just, all the shots were beautiful. The colors really stood out to me. I thought that there was a really great contrast between the one character played by J.K. Simmons.
Yes. What's his name?
Terrence Fletcher.
Fletcher, yes.
Yeah, the teacher
Professor
of the
Fletcher.
school.
Yes, and it's a story about jazz musicians, really, and it's the director actually went on to do La La Land, which I didn't like as much. But
I haven't seen that.
That one's pretty good, but it's not as good as this, I think. It's less intense.
This is the very intense movie.
Yes.
A lot of striking colors though. Like with J.K. Simmons, he had a lot of cold, dark colors and blues. And when you'd see the main character I have pulled up right here, Miles Teller's character, Andrew.
Yes, you knew him from War Dogs, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know him from anything.
I knew right away. I was like, I knew that guy, and it was from with him and Jonah Hill as with the War Dog guys.
War Dogs, which I saw that movie and I completely forgot he was in it.
Yeah,
but,
I knew he stood out. At first I thought it was Baby Driver, but
no. He kind of looks like the guy from Baby Driver. That Ansel Elgort is the guy.
Ansel Elgort.
Yeah, that's the guy's name from Baby Driver.
Damn, what a wicked name.
He's got a weird
Ansel
name.
Elgort. Shout out to Ansel out there.
Yeah, really.
But the guy who I confused him with, who was the character Andrew in the film.
Mm-hmm. He's the protagonist.
Yeah, he had a lot of gold, and he was. It was mentioned from the professor that he was maybe a bit self-righteous in how he aims to be a great drummer, one of the greats in the film, and there was a lot of gold behind him, and now that I've kind of watched the film, and I was making my assumptions as we went along, this movie I found myself. I normally wait to, I'm on the ride with the movie a lot of the time when I watch a new movie. This one, I really was like, because it's so intense, I was very engaged with the characters and their motivation. And like, there was a lot of things I was picking up on. I was like, I wonder if I could guess it before it happens.
Yeah, he likes to guess the plot lines before they occur, which my dad does too.
Yeah, but this movie, I mean, I didn't call him out, and I'm glad I didn't, but...
Because you would have been wrong.
Yeah, no, I kept him in my head, but there was at least like 3 or 4 times like throughout where I was like, is this going to be, is that, and it wasn't, which I'm really glad it was, and I guess when we're going through it,
you'll point out some things.
Yeah, I'll point out the things, but there was definitely a cool contrast between the two characters and just their very intense energy. There was a couple other characters, but
yeah, it's mainly about the relationship between the professor and his student. Fletcher is the very intense, very strict professor. I mean, he's beyond reality. I mean, he does things that no professor would actually do.
Do you think you're out of tune?
yes.
Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
Just like, in terms of, I mean, spoiler alert, he does get fired eventually, but this wouldn't fly for as long as it did in modern society. I mean,
in today's society, he would be fired immediately.
I'm surprised if this came out a little after it did, because it came out in 2014. There would probably be like a cancel culture kind of thing. He would definitely be canceled, because he goes on to perform gigs like immediately after, so he's not too affected by it negatively, but for being fired. But in today's world, he would not be performing at all.
Yeah,
and in the music world.
this dude's very intense. You might know you might know J.K. Simmons from one of my favorite performances of
Yes.
his in Spider-Man. Sam
Yeah.
Raimi's the classic, the good Spider-Man.
2002. I mean, he's in the newer one.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's in what's it? No, Far From Home. He reprises his role as John Jones Jameson, but he's bald still.
Oh,
He didn't know that. You didn't see that movie?
No, I strictly for the exact reason of Sam Raimi's being the best that I was like, oh, I'm not gonna watch these other Spider-Men.
You should watch that one at least. Just for that it's the post credit scene too. So it's not even that he's not in it for that long. But
Okay, guys,
I just
I might be
spoiled that
watching
for
some
him.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I wouldn't have watched it without it. So you know what?
yeah. That's true.
For J.K. Simmons, I'm gonna check it out. His performance in this though,
Yeah, it's incredible.
wow,
Him
like,
and
this was crazy.
the lead Miles Teller, they're both really good in this. The acting and the cinematography that you mentioned, and the editing too. The way it's like, especially when they're doing the musical sequences when they're performing,
Very
like
snappy.
The way they hit from boom 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 to the different instruments as they play, like the trumpets and the fucking all that.
It would have great like panning shots where we go through like the symphony and like as it was like the I guess it was like a cellos to the trumpets to the sax or
Yes.
whatever they had like included. It was just like this great like the shots of it. They had like the front ons and it was going to the horns raising up as they kicked in and it had like the like how like the angles are supposed to like line up and everything.
Sure, yeah.
But they had so many like dynamic changes in where they were placing the camera. I noticed where I was
Yeah.
like, wow, like this is like very like boom boom boom. Like there's so many shots like jazz which they're playing. It's very very chaotic in a lot of moments, but the way that they put it together, it really was like a very much like a symphony almost, like how
Yeah.
the chaotic
That's a good
angles
point.
all blended together like that, and there was so
And
much
beautiful harmony.
striking imagery, the colors, just throughout. I mean, like that's a huge highlight for me. Like I was
There's this
completely
one
sucked
part
in.
where they're whip panning between Fletcher and Andrew, and while he's performing his big solo, and they keep going back and forth between them.
Yeah.
You remember that shot where they just go,
That's the one towards the end.
yeah, towards the end
Yeah.
where it's the big performance at the end.
It gets pretty intense. I was like, every time that that Fletcher was on screen, pretty much. I mean, you may have noticed I was just like this. I was like,
Yeah,
I was doing this a lot.
he
This
steals-
was me throughout a lot of the film. I was just like,
he steals the film, but in a good way.
Yeah.
He absorbs you into his character, just like his intensity, as you said, and just like
a great antagonist. Like,
yeah. I mean, he's
an antagonist
the
that you love.
antagonist?
Kinda.
Yeah.
He's not really an antagonist, but you see. We'll get through it. I guess we'll
he's
do
the
like
mentor.
a breakdown.
Yeah,
but
we'll break it down a little bit. So,
we
Andrew,
can do the beats of it. Yeah, if you want to start.
We'll do a basic one. We'll go through it a little fast.
All right.
Andrew is the protagonist. He's a student at the Performing Arts School of Schrader or something like that.
I think it was Schrader. If it's not, there you go.
Yeah. Really, yeah. Whatever it is, I'll put it on screen. But the best performing arts musical school for music
Right.
in the country,
Yeah.
and he's in like a second classroom, and he's performing, and he's like the backup guy, right?
There's the core, which is the main band, and then there was. I want to say it was backup, but I don't think that's the term they use.
That's not the term they use, but I can't remember it right
Yeah,
now. But they're
basically someone
basically the
sits
backup.
behind them and
he's
they
the
flip the pages.
He's the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we even mentioned he plays the drums.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, the main character Andrew plays the drums, and that's it keeps the tempo, it keeps the pace of all the jazz that the orchestrator is running through.
He's the drummer in like an orchestra or like an ensemble, I guess in this case,
Mhm.
is kind of like the most important part because he keeps the tempo and keeps the beat of the whole piece.
Yeah, and
So-
Fletcher has a particular tempo that he needs you to keep.
Oh
with.
yeah, we'll get to that. Well, because he Fletcher walks in on him performing.
Right. The
Andrew
opening shot is
performing,
pretty interesting.
and he kind of scouts him out for his class, and
Right.
eventually he's transferred over to Fletcher's class. And Fletcher is kind of like the top professor at the school. Like you want him.
When people walk in, everybody shuts up. They're like,
Yeah, he's the guy everyone respects the most.
Mhm.
He's the guy that gets everyone into like the big competitions because he leads their I don't remember what they call it, but the top band in the school is run by
Yeah.
him. He runs that. So if you want to get in there, you want to be in his class.
yeah, right away he's like introduces like the top dog. Everybody's
Yes.
like just bowing down to him, and he makes all the other kids. There's a great scene where there's a tubby kid that he's basically doing like a check on everybody's instruments, and someone flubs up, and there's like a little bit of like water that pools on the floor or something, and I guess it's something about their instrument wasn't calibrated right or something. And he's like, someone's out of tune.
Yeah, he was out of tune, and well, the thing was he wasn't out of tune.
He runs through the list and he picks on this one guy.
Yeah. Who didn't know if he was off tune or not, so he kicked him out of the class.
Which he gets like way up close. Great scene, yeah.
Great little introduction to what kind of professor Fletcher is, and it kind of sets the mood of like, okay, this guy is you don't want to fuck with him. You don't want to fuck up in this class.
What are you? My eyes are up here. What are you looking at? Damn Mars bars down there or something?
Yeah, that's a great line.
Yeah.
There's no fucking Mars bar down there. What are you looking at?
Yeah,
right away his intensity is like shown off in that scene.
Yeah, and we kind of go through as Andrew works his way up the ladder. He kind of, through a fuck up, he starts out as the backup drummer, and kind of through a fuck up, he misses he misplaces the leads.
They're like their binders of their notes, I guess?
The musical notes. Yeah. So he misplaces the lead drummer's notes, and he's like, I can't perform without the notes, and Andrew's like, but I can. So that's how he gets in.
Yeah, he slides right in.
Yeah.
Never explain what happens to the thing.
To who? The backup?
No, just the
the binder.
The backup and also the binder. It just
they do mention what happens to that guy. They say he goes to pre-med, but I did remember
he couldn't handle it.
No, he couldn't. And that's kind of what the movie's about, but we'll get into the theme, which I kind of have honed in on the theme. I'm wondering if you have, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah, because you'll probably see in my many theories that I had throughout the movie. Yes. Some of them got really ridiculous too, just letting you know.
Okay, well, we'll see how they get. Because I'm curious about your theories too.
Okay.
Well, okay, so he gets to be the lead drummer, and he's kind of like, he's put through tests in ways. He's the famous one is, are you leading or are you what is it? Rushing or dragging?
Dragging, yeah.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
And he's getting slapped in the face, and and that's kind of like later in the film as Fletcher says, like a real prodigy wouldn't get to just discouraged. And it's kind of it kind of gets revealed that he's being tested throughout the whole film. All this crap that he goes through is kind of like just to make him the best him he could be. So in that
great
way,
reveals.
In that way, he kind of is like a genius professor, but like a little too far.
But you love him though, because he's so locked into his method.
Yeah, he's passionate. I think that's part of what the movie's about, is passion. The other thing is what I'll get into later, but so we get through that, and
you could tell it was passionate though. Like we came into this review like we just came like straight from it. We set up like the thing where we're like I was just like, I want to get into like this.
Yeah, well,
like I was so I think
both of us
yeah.
being in kind of artistic mindsets, it kind of resonates in terms of that the kind of passion that flows through it, and the other thing, which I'll get to.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And so their first break performance,
right?
He kind of were you expecting? I think this was the first break performance, or the first or the second, because. No, it was the second, because the first big performance is when he forgets the notes, right?
Yeah.
The second performance, were you expecting the literal whiplash?
Okay, so
because this was a big moment in the film,
where
he gets. You explain the setup to what happens.
For the second competition, he's doing well. Andrew's he's passing the tests. He had a date with a girl. His life's going in good directions, and he's confident. He's gaining confidence. You see throughout the whole beginning. He doubts himself a lot, and there's actually a very funny, notable scene when he asked the girl out. It's a pretty good scene to mention.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot.
There's a girl that Andrew has feelings for throughout the film.
Works at the movie theater.
Yeah, and also a weird scene where he never mentioned he puts raisinets in popcorn. Maybe that's a method to the madness. I don't
I
know.
don't know. That might be a thing that the writer did.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
he's
sure.
like, doesn't everybody do this?
Yeah, I gotta put it in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a very weird scene, and then there's popcorn later on, and there was no raisinets in it. But I mean, that
What a
was
shame.
what a missed opportunity to put some raisinets in there. I would have
Yeah, really.
noticed. But yeah, he goes on this date with a girl. She denies him at first, and I was like, ooh.
Please go away.
It was a pretty good moment.
But it was a fake out denial.
Yeah, there's
But
some good
yeah.
fake outs in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sidetrack from the second performance. Andrew he gets a rental car. He's having a whole bunch of
His bus
mess
breaks
ups.
down, yeah.
Yeah,
and he
he's
has
on
to
a
get a rental
bus
car.
trying to get a cab. Then he goes to get a rental.
He's in fear of being late, and he gets there, and he forgot his drumsticks at the rental place.
Right.
So he goes back to the rental place in his car, and when he's coming back,
Yeah, there's a scene where there's like a big, I guess a semi truck, basically like an 18-wheeler, just is all of a sudden bam, like rammed right into him, and
it's sudden too. I mean, I knew it was coming, and I still
I
was
could
kind of
feel
surprised.
it. I could feel it coming, and I was like, "Ooh, I got some bad feelings about this." And that was another moment where I was just like, "Oh no," because at first it was just the time, and then it was the car, and I was like, "Oh God!" And I saw him in the car, panicking. Great shots of like the speedometer,
Yeah.
how they showed that, and there was a shot before he goes to get the drum sets where it ramps up,
Yeah.
and cues in on him walking into the room, and I remember that being like a really cool scene, the way that was edited.
Yeah, it's just to emphasize that he's being reckless. He's not thinking. He's just got to get there. That's all he's focused on.
A lot of like really simple shots like that, like throughout, like show like a lot of like the general, like it gives you the narrative like really quickly, and it's like, oh, you're just with it, because
Yeah,
they show it really well. But
So you were taken aback by when he gets hit by the truck.
definitely taken back. Okay, I guess before I
I was gonna say, did that lead into a theory of yours, or
the theory will come. He basically gets into this huge wreck. He's flipped upside down, and he's like, oh, coming to, and he remembers to get the drum set,
Sticks, yeah.
the drumsticks, and Andrew leaves the car. The guy's like, hey, are you okay? Whatever. And he's like, I just gotta go. And he just starts bolting, which I was like, that's odd. He's just gonna start running to the play. I mean, he just got into a car accident.
That's gonna get into the theme, I think.
But so that's them two of my theories. When he gets into the second performance, they are waiting for him, which I thought was weird, because J.K. Simmons at this point seems to be very like, you're not special. It's more my thing,
Yeah.
Like it's a. It didn't seem like it was like his story as much as it was almost like him passing through J.K. Simmons' tests.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I get what you mean.
And he's covered in blood. He has a suit on. There's blood on the white, on the black, and he starts bleeding all over the drums. Fletcher lets him go on the drums, start playing. He's kind of messing it up. He's fumbling, I believe, or something like that.
Well, he drops the sticks.
Right, he drops the stick because
And he keeps
weak.
dropping
He was just
them,
in the thing. This led to my first theory, which I knew it wasn't going to be what I thought it was.
Okay, what was it?
But I was like, oh, maybe this is going to take like some crazy turn, and he's going to be like, from the whiplash, the literal whiplash that he gets before he can play Whiplash. It's
the song, yeah. There's a song in the movie called Whiplash that he's performing.
He's going to be like, he almost goes into like a zombie mode, it looks like, and he looks like he's getting like better because of it. And I was like, wait, are they going to make it that the car crash is what makes him one of the greats or something? And then, which would be totally ridiculous.
Yeah, that'd be a bit weird. Like it activates something in his mind. He's like,
yeah, kind of. They just the way it was shown at first, I was like, wait, is that what it is? And I don't know.
Okay.
The second
that would have
theory,
been weird.
The second theory, I guess spoilers, is this theory is not correct. So this isn't the ending of the movie. But
Okay, what did you think the ending was going to be?
the way everything was wrapping up, I almost thought that it was going to do like this weird thing, because like when he almost gets the acceptance of Fletcher, it kind of implies that he has Fletcher's, like, he's proud of him. He starts smiling at him towards the very, very end in the last performance. I thought it was going to snap back to the car crash and be like all the dream sequence type thing. Like,
that would have
perfect.
sucked.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be. So I was like, oh, I hope it's not that.
No.
And then,
thank God, no.
yeah, we'll get to the ending, but I almost wish there was something else. But so after that second performance,
he
Oh yeah,
he's unable to perform the song.
right, right. Yeah, he can't do it. He drops
he
the
drops the sticks,
drumsticks.
and Fletcher's like, "Get out, you're done."
Yeah,
And he flips out and kicks the drums, and attacks Fletcher.
yeah. He tackles him and tries to punch him. I don't know if he
He
actually
tries
gets
to
a hit
choke him
in.
or something.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, but then security pulls him off, and he's just
Well,
like,
it's the other band members, but yeah.
"Oh, okay, yeah." And then cut to him just. I think he's sitting in his room, just depressed, right?
Well, yeah, and he's talking to
Oh, yeah,
his father and some representative from another family
right.
who lost their child to stress and anxiety after being in Fletcher's
Yeah,
class.
induced by Fletcher. There was a victim, Fletcher.
They mentioned it earlier. They set that up.
Yeah, Fletcher. He led a student to become very great, but then that student got into a car accident.
No, he killed him. Well, that's what he said, but he actually killed himself.
Oh,
That was the same kid as what they feel later.
Oh, okay. Oops. Okay, guys. Well,
He said he says it was a car accident, but then later when the woman's talking, she's like, this I forget the kid's name, but he killed himself after performing
oh, I totally heard that and it didn't register. I was so
yeah.
J.K. Simmons' performance in this is so believable. He could have been telling like just complete lies throughout
He
the whole
kind of
thing.
was. He kind of was fooling people because he was
Yeah.
trying to make it seem like because that's the whole thing is he was trying to make it seem like Andrew's not important, but that's just to build him up.
Right.
The
right.
whole thing was to whip him into shape, and it's essentially whiplash him into shape, and to turning him into one of the greats. And after they meet with the representative
lady.
they basically go through and they snitch on Fletcher for being a bad teacher, and he gets fired. Andrew gets kicked out of the school for his freaking out and attacking Fletcher, and they meet up at a little bar where Fletcher is performing.
Yeah, they go off on their own separate
coincidence.
things.
Yeah, and Fletcher has an invitation for Andrew. He's performing, and this is where one of the most important conversations happen, is at the bar where he's explaining his mantra to Andrew, and this is where he says,
"But is there a line? Maybe you go too far and you discourage the next Charlie Parker from ever becoming Charlie Parker."
No, man, no. Because the next Charlie Parker would never be discouraged.
And this is where he offers an invitation for Andrew to come perform for his band that he's conducting at this big arts festival kind of thing.
Yeah, he says like people there, like they'll if you fuck up, they'll remember you forever. But like if
if you do good,
they can get you to the heights that he wants to get to. So it sets them all up, and he's like, there's a great shot where he's just like, and it like pans into his face.
He's only thinking about like this is my chance. This is. He thought he fucked up when he got kicked out of school, but now he's getting one more chance, and he thinks, "Oh, this is it," you know. But then Fletcher throws him a curveball by giving him a song he's never performed before. Yeah, to try to sabotage him.
Yeah, they get to the final performance, and Fletcher switches it up on him. Instead of Whiplash, they will be performing something else. I forgot, something slower.
Some other song.
Upswinging.
And there's a great scene where Fletcher goes up to Andrew, and he's like, "You little shit! You think I'm so dumb? Like I knew the whole time."
Yeah, he knew that he snitched on him.
Yeah,
and he was not happy. That's why he sabotaged him.
Right.
By giving him a song he couldn't perform.
I know it was you.
But Andrew turns it around. He doesn't give up.
Yeah.
And he leads the band into one final performance of, I think it's Whiplash is the final song.
Yeah, I think he guys switched back to Whiplash.
With some crazy long ass drum solo.
I didn't expect Fletcher to want that, and I guess I was.
He didn't at first, but then he realized this was a good moment.
Andrew's about to give up, and he goes. His dad appears on the side, and he's like, "I'm sorry." He gives him a hug.
Yeah,
and that's when Andrew almost he's like, "No." Like I feel like that's when he realizes whatever, turns around, goes back on stage, and then Fletcher's like, He's not expecting it. And that's
Yeah.
when he's like, that's when he's put into the final test.
Yes. Essentially.
Something minor that I don't know if this is even intended at all, but I mentioned in the beginning, like the colors. I noticed that Fletcher focuses a lot on blue and like a lot
Yes.
of like
I think so.
a
A lot of
lot
muted
of
tones. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of Andrew was green. One of the only times in the movie, and a lot of scenes are very prevalent, just blue,
Hmm.
gold. Uh, at the very, very end, at that scene when he hugs his father, all of a sudden, and the scene right before it, there's a lot of clashing. I mentioned there was a lot of clashing blue and yellow.
Yeah.
At the very, very end, when he hugs his father, before he turns around, I noticed all the walls around him were green, or
Hmm.
a majority of them. And I don't know if that's just the blending of the two. That's what I took it almost
Oh, okay.
as.
That'd be interesting.
I'm not sure if
I
there's
have to
anything
I have to check,
deeper
but that
into
might be
that.
interesting. It was a little color theory.
Yeah, it's something I noticed, and I was like, oh, I figure that's worth noting because it just seems like his pride was the Andrew was the pride of like the yellow, and then Fletcher's
Yeah.
like discipline and like coldness was like the blue, and it almost had like this great mashup towards the end that I really like
Yes.
seeing visually, with all the amazing shots and everything, and dialogue and performances. Really great overall, but
Yeah, and it ends on that amazing final drum. The final drum
solo,
performance.
yeah.
Yes. Movie cuts to black and it credits roll.
And I was
It's the perfect
so
moment.
I wanted something.
You wanted
I wanted an
a little bit
epilogue.
more.
That was another. I was like,
You wanted
oh,
to know did they keep performing? But I think it's the perfect part to end it at.
it was perfect.
I
It
think
was really,
I think
really
that's the
good.
right choice.
It was, oh man, like I don't know the director. I don't know if you know the.
No, not. I mean, I looked it up before. He directed. Did you ever see First Man? I never saw it, but it's like Ryan Gosling in space. I never
No,
saw it, so I
this guy
can't.
likes Ryan Gosling, I guess. Um,
What?
but he likes La La Land too, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot he was.
Yeah,
He
La La
made did La
Land
Land.
and
Yeah.
whatever
Okay.
the
But
him in space.
yeah, no, because I think Whiplash was a short film, like Saw was originally a short film
Ooh.
that got turned into a feature. I've never seen the short film of Whiplash, but that'd be interesting to compare and contrast. But
Yeah, I would take a look at that. I mean, so I didn't just like Saw actually. I like you weren't too or you didn't have too many expectations going into Saw. Like I
yeah,
didn't know exactly what to expect from Whiplash. Like I had worked at a movie theater when this came out, and I had seen the poster. I had seen.
that's all the exposure you had, really.
I would let people into the theater sometimes and like with the light or whatever. So I saw scenes and I was like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
doesn't look like it's for me. Even when you recommended it and you were putting it on, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And then I actually found myself like completely loving everything about this.
I'm glad you got caught up in it.
Yeah, this definitely resonated with me as you mentioned, as someone who like just wants to create stuff and has that like I feel like a lot of creatives need to stick with their vision and stuff, which
Mhm.
is a big uh like part of his mantra, whatever,
Yeah.
like mixed in with that.
Well, what do you think? This is where I'm getting to what I was hinting at earlier.
Oh.
What do you think the main theme is? If you had to take away, like, what is this movie about in one word? Because I have a word for it. I mean, it's not like too deep or anything. This is just something I'm interested to hear what you say compared to what I think.
Um if I was to if I was to wrap up all the emotions I felt from it, I feel like it's like a determination, kind of like a
Okay.
perseverance almost, like
Okay, that's kind of close to what I have because what I
okay,
have is ambition.
ambition. All right,
Because
I can see
ambition,
that.
it's like this unbridled like urge to succeed and be the best. That kind of ambition to go forward and like
Yeah,
be somebody and be recognized. And kind of in this movie, it's kind of like at what cost? Because
right. And he has
he
like an
sacrificed.
unwavering like confidence in
Yes,
himself.
he has this confidence, but he also sacrifices like everything. He
Yeah,
sacrifices
the
his
girl that we
relationships.
mentioned. Yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't have any friends. He has to cut off this girl because he knows at one point like she's gonna be in the way of
mm,
what I want, and what he wants is to be the best drummer basically.
right.
And yeah, that's kind of what like interests me is this kind of like weirdly compelling story about like this character who only wants one thing and will do anything to get it, and this other character who's like pushing him to do that and
Yeah,
pushing him to just forget everything. I mean, like when he walks out of the car wreck and he's going towards the competition,
Yeah.
you'd think any other normal person would be like, "Fuck, man, I just got in a car wreck."
Yeah,
That's a
they'll
good enough.
understand,
That's a good
yeah.
enough excuse. But no, he knows if he doesn't perform that day, that might be it for him.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I definitely see that. Yeah, I mean this movie is like this is one of those movies that like I feel motivated right now. Like I have to get up for work soon, like in a
Yes.
couple hours. I have an early shift in the morning, but like man, I want to just like work all night right now because I just feel like this makes me want to like dig into my passions and like just keep like hammering out the stuff that I do. Like I'm sure you feel the same
Yeah,
way.
hell yeah. I mean,
this is
it's-
like a very like inspiring movie, and I didn't expect it to be. That
interestingly enough, I mean it's dark because it is kind of like it's kind of a dark look at ambition because it is kind of like
what are
yeah,
you willing to give up?
but
Kinda?
what do you yeah exactly it's not
Yeah.
like a typical success story. It's not, it's like if you want it, you have to work for it. You have to
There's a part
put
where
in the blood and like
yeah,
like
he's
blood,
literally
sweat, and
like
tears,
bleeding
literally.
for his art, and he's just like there's a great scene where he has to put his hands in like cold ice and stuff, and that was
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, just the scenes where he was building up these massive calluses. I've
Mhm.
done a little bit of drumming. I don't know if you guys remember from episode 3 of the show. There's some characters that are but yeah, I had like the little drums. Very hard to do. Really tough.
It's very physically intensive,
I
which I
quit
think
out at the fills. That's where I
yes.
quit.
It's very
I got
physically
the
intense because, which I think makes this movie even better because it's like, it's not like something more abstract. Like if he was playing the flute, then it would be like kind of hard to understand. Okay,
Yeah.
what exactly is he doing? But like with drums, it's so physical and like visual
Mm-hmm.
that you can tell like all that like built upness in him.
We were wondering if the actual I don't know if you can just put this on screen if it is true or not, but like the main
Verify
character,
this.
yeah, it looked like he was playing. So I don't know if they
Either
actually
he was
taught him.
either he was playing the drums or there was some really intensive VFX going on where they
Yeah.
were replacing his head in a lot of shots, which I don't think. I think they actually he learned to play the drums, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna look it up and see if there's an article on it. But
It was very like
and
very impressive
I'm
visually.
wondering if
and
J.K. Simmons can play the piano because he plays the piano
yeah.
in one shot too.
there was a
And
a
they
good
don't,
piano
and they
shot.
and usually if they do that, they'll only
Yeah.
show his fingers and then they'll
They
show
cut
his
back,
face in
but
a
it was
different
the-
shot.
it was like a full-
But it was a full shot,
Yeah.
so he must know how to play the piano or very intensive visual effects. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm pretty
don't-
sure it's real.
I don't think you could put. I want to keep saying his name right, so I keep looking over. J.K.
Okay.
Fletcher's. I don't think you could put J.K. Fletcher's like face
Fletcher's?
though on J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't think you could put J.K. Simmons' face on someone else because
Someone
he
else's
just
body.
yeah, especially given this new
So-
look that he has. He has
so
kind of like
veiny
that
and kinda
turkey
old.
neck going on.
Yeah.
Very. I love his look because he had a black t-shirt on for the most part, maybe a blazer at the performances, but you see like all the wrinkles in his arm, and he does a lot of like motions like the
Yeah. Like as
bringing things
a
up.
conductor, yeah.
Yeah, and his performance doing that was like almost made me want to laugh, but it's like it's very like convincing, and I'm like, oh, I love this. Like at the
Reminds me
same
of like
time,
that Bugs Bunny.
oh yeah, the Great Bugs Bunny
Yeah.
where the opera thing that they
Yeah.
had. Yeah, great shots of his arms.
Yeah, that's
He
a
makes me
highlight.
want to like work out into like an old age so I can get that great like old bicep look
Old
that he had.
bulge.
Yeah, he's got like an old bulge. So, like he had like just like his neck has like a little bit of like age to it, but you see that in his arms, but it's still
Mhm.
like he's ripped, and it was like he was like oldly ripped.
Yeah.
It was
I
just like a
gotcha.
funny. He had a great look to him that it made his intensity way more. I don't know. He had a
All
great
right.
look throughout the film, but yeah, I guess at this point we're just kind of going in circles. I guess do you want
Yeah.
to give it a rating? Because I know you've
Yeah.
watched this before.
I have, and I think I liked it even more this time.
Okay.
I think I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's really high up there. It's like one of my favorite dramas, like just in terms of like the intensity of the whole film, and it never lets up. And the performances are great. The score is great. Like
Yeah.
just like the actual performances of the jazz music. Like I'm not big into jazz,
Yeah, no,
but
no.
but it's
I'll listen to it here and
but
there.
it is interesting and like very compelling in this movie with the soundtrack. But
Mhm.
yeah, I really liked it. What about you?
I might have to meet you at the 9. I was almost gonna give it like a 9.5. I don't know if it's that deserving, but I really really fell in love with it. Like I was throughout the whole thing, I was like damn, like I love this. Like the whole time, I was just like that. I don't think there was anything that could have brought it down. Even like I mean, yeah, I'll say 9.5. This is honestly for.
Damn.
I mean, I don't watch many dramas too. But I mean, that's not true. I've seen a couple. I've seen a lot, but I don't know. No. I'll give it a 9 to be safe. You know what?
Okay.
9.2.
Okay.
9.2, guys.
I'll pull that up on the screen.
9.2. There you go. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like this was great. The whole thing, I couldn't recommend this more. I think that this is definitely going to be a film that I revisit. Maybe within the next couple months, I'll probably find myself rewatching this on my own time.
Damn. Okay. I'm glad you liked it that much.
Yeah, this was definitely one I highly recommend for me.
But
oh,
do you know what movie this movie lost the Best Picture to? Can you guess?
2014. 2014.
We actually watched this together at one point.
Okay.
So you've seen it before.
Can you tell me the genre? Would that ruin it? Is that too easy?
It's also kind of a drama with music, but not about music.
Oh,
but
Birdman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, that was quick. I didn't think you'd get it.
My first thought when were talking about that, you mentioned something about the score and everything, and I was thinking like I drew a lot of
Birdman also had a very percussive score, a lot of drums and stuff.
I guess when you brought that up, it jogged at my memory of that, and I was like, if I was the Academy. Yeah, if I was the Academy, my vote would have been for Whiplash. Like, man, I wish I watched this in the theaters.
Yeah, I liked Birdman a lot, but I think I agree. I think I liked Whiplash better.
Word.
All right, so that's our review. But Whiplash is better.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to see you guys in the next Show 2.0. Woo! All right, see you guys.
Bye-bye.